And welcome back to a special Monday edition of the Chop Sports Daily, coming to you live from the Flipping Made Easy Studios here in beautiful Matawan, New Jersey, at the Custom Cabinet and Creation Sports Desk. I got my boy Rasslin Rob sitting in for Dave. What's going on? I hope everybody had a happy Easter. Rob, did you get everything you needed from the Easter Bunny, bro?
That was all right. It was a nice little fun, little
Easter egg hunt in the morning, and then dealing with the kids all day. Very fun times. So, sports this weekend, we had the NBA playoffs get started with round one, and the Yankees can't get any hits. I'm going to sound off on the Yankees in just a little bit. NFL wideouts want some money. We're going to talk about all that. But first, Rob, what do you think of this Japanese pitcher that we got, bro? Bro,
4 games?
I don't even know his name. I got to get it.
I can't pronounce it. There's no way.
Roki Sasaki.
4 games. Like 60 strikeouts, I think.
Bro, he had a perfect game. They didn't pull him. He's 20 years old. He had a perfect game. His catcher's 19, right? The following game, he had 8 innings pitched. I don't think he gave up another run. So he has a 23-inning scoreless streak. This kid's going to get paid. Hopefully, they don't implement the draft. Hopefully, they don't implement the draft.
Well, they're doing
for the international players, because then the Yankees won't have a chance at him.
How does that really work, though? Like, they just every year they just choose what players they want to go in this draft? I don't understand.
Well, right now, the way international prospects work is there's an international prospect pool. Players, teams have a set amount of money that they're allowed to use on international prospects per year. But in the offseason, they were doing this whole labor negotiations, and that was a sticking point for the owners. They want to do a draft. So it's not going to be where, like, first come, first serve, pay me the most money. They're going to do it very much so like they do the amateur draft with college and high school kids in the country now. So if you're an international player, your entry into the league is very different than it would be if you went to college or you got drafted out of high school.
You ever that movie The Scout, like where it goes into like Mexico?
Exactly.
Brendan Fraser's.
Before I forget what's going on, Kyle, I want to thank you for leaving your laptop here, because right now I'm having technical difficulties. You won't see any graphics on this show. My laptop is crapped out. So I'm using Kyle's laptop. And what's up to Chris Payne? Before I forget, I wanted to mention everybody go over to patreon.com. If you're not supporting the show and you would like to, go over to patreon.com/Chop Sports. There's 3 tiers. We got there's $3, $5, and $10 tiers. You want to go support us. There's some cool stuff coming. I did not get the baseball bingo going just yet, but I promise it will be here for all of our Dynasty members. He's saying that I could have the laptop he has donated. I do appreciate that.
Nice.
One last thing, Dat Chat. Go over to Dat Chat. It's a new social media platform where basically I would say that the freedom of speech is allowed there.
Yes.
It's allowed because really nobody could censor you. Nobody could screenshot your posts and things like that. So you're safe on Dat Chat. The Chop Sports group is over 400 members now and growing. So check that out. We'd like to thank our boy Glenn for giving all the support he does through the Patreon. All right. So the Yankees do suck, bro. The Yankees can't get any hits. I'm very disappointed. I want to talk about the state of the New York Yankees a little bit. And I'm going to start right now with yesterday's game, first and foremost. So Nestor Cortez, nasty Nestor, right? I'm talking to a couple of my betting buddies, and we're just like, the Yankees haven't done it yet so far. So the time is now. Nestor's pitching. We know he's going to bring it, and he did. But the Yankees just can't seem to hit the ball, bro. And I know you're a Red Sox fan.
I am a Red Sox fan.
But you could look at it without the optics of being a Red Sox fan, and it doesn't really matter. The Yankees suck regardless right now.
It's the same story as last year, kind of. It's the pitchers are showing up a little bit. Well, not all of them, but
they are. They're having a little hiccups at the back end of the bullpen, which is to be expected. I'm not going to sit here and crucify anyone just yet, but yeah, they're pitching just like last year. You expected it to be the bats that carried the team, and early in the season, it was definitely the pitching. They made some trades, and things kind of got better with the bats, and then their pitching tailed off. Very much similar to this season, and my whole gripe, like, obviously guys are going to eventually hit.
Yeah.
But when we're looking at the lineup on a daily basis, there's a new lineup out there every single day. And I blame Aaron Boone. I blame the state of baseball in general and Aaron Boone for not, I see no fight. I see no fire in his interviews. He's got Glaber, who can hit, who sucks in the field, playing every day over DJ. Yep. You got DJ LeMahieu, who's making over $100 million in his contract to be a utility
Probably
guy.
One of the best hitters on the team, right?
No,
if not
the best pure hitter on the team for sure. Last year is no indication of that, but just his track record speaks for itself. DJ's a 300 career hitter, I think, at this point. But just through and through, you got Cashman. Let's just talk about the entire state of the franchise. You got Cashman, who's coming out making comments about how they have excuses, built-in excuses for why they haven't had World Series success over the last decade. That's just not Yankee speak.
Even when that first came out, Chris was the first person.
I was
to be
like, "There's no way
he
that's
said
true."
it. Yeah,
Unbelievable.
There's no way he
Cashman
said that.
Talking that he's got excuses for the lack of World Series appearances. You got the ownership is just absent. Where's the ownership in this equation? I haven't heard a fucking word out of either Hank or Hal Steinbrenner. George must be rolling in his grave. I know that Yankee fans some of them are hot and cold on the way Steinbrenner ran the team, and he was always controversial. But guess what? He put out a great product. And if he didn't put out a great product, the players knew about it.
Yeah.
The players were hearing about it. I haven't heard a fucking word. Right? The only words that I hear really are, we aren't signing anybody because we're saving all this money for Aaron Judge. That's been going on for 2 seasons. This past offseason, it comes out this weekend that the Yankees didn't make a play on one single top free agent. And that was the understanding that Aaron Judge would be signed.
Yeah.
And that would be our big prize of the offseason. Now, just a couple weeks later, we get to see Aaron Judge memes dressed up in a fucking Mets uniform. Makes me absolutely sick. The Yankees got to figure this out. It's just not what we want to be doing right now.
I don't understand. Like you said, George must be like literally rolling over his grave. Like, what is going on right now? This is not what I left you guys to do.
I believe that the Yankees play the Red Sox on Sunday. Is it the Red Sox?
I didn't look.
You didn't look. Sure, I'm looking to get into the stadium on Sunday and go see this abysmal franchise take on what used to be an abysmal franchise.
It's the Guardians.
Oh, it's the Guardians.
At 135.
So the new Guardians. So I'm looking to go to the Yankee game. Hopefully the Guardians aren't don't have the Yankees.
Garrett Cole's pitching though. So
bro, you can't score 5 runs in 5 days. And one of those teams that you're playing 3 of those games is the Baltimore Orioles. It's just unacceptable.
Not the New York Yankees. My thing is like they got Joe Girardi out of there so fast, and I get he only won the 1 World Series there, and he was another guy that was handed a team. But remember when he left and they gave the keys to Boone, everyone's like, "Oh, it's a brand new Ferrari. Look, he's got Judge, Stan, all these guys." And what has he done, bro?
Aaron Boone has done nothing. He's the only Yankee manager that's made it to this point in his tenure without presenting a championship, but without being fired. There's been guys that have managed almost as long as Boone, but the problem was they'd win. And then and then you win, you keep your next contract. I don't understand what the fuck the Yankees are doing with Aaron Boone.
He's in winning.
He looks, and I hate to say this, but he looks a little sickly. He just doesn't seem like he has the fire. I'm not talking about his health. But I know that he had a pacemaker put in. It just might be a different message at this point. We need to see a different message. The players need to get a different message. Too much of a player's coach. There's no fire. He yells at umpires, but I don't think he has once raised his voice to a single player at all. Nope. And that's an issue in the current state of the Yankees, I believe.
And look at the other team across the way in New York. See that 7-3 right now with a 70-something-year-old head coach.
I'm not.
They're playing for him.
I was clamoring for Buck Showalter for the last 2 seasons. Buck Showalter, I think, is the best living manager in the world right now. Best living baseball manager in the world. The Mets are in good place with him. And I feel like that's the thing that's going to stop the Mets' ultimate collapse, is whereas typically you would see the Mets play well, but they haven't had the right captain to guide the ship through the rough seas. And right now, Buck Showalter, he doesn't really take the I'm a new guy approach. He doesn't let his players take that approach. He expects professionalism from everybody, and he teaches it. It's not like Aaron Boone. I feel like he just lets these guys be themselves a little bit too much, which is okay. I agree that you have to let these guys be themselves. I think they should let them have facial hair, all that. So that's one side of it. But with Buck Showalter, it's like, no, you act like a professional 24/7. And the Mets right now, 7-3. I know, at least 7-3.
7-3 right now.
The Mets are, I can't believe they played every day.
7-3.
10 days of baseball. The Mets have 10 games. Good for them. Bro, I don't see them having the collapse that they typically have because of Buck Showalter. So I hate to admit it. I did predict that the Mets were going to have a better record than the Yankees this season. And now it's kind of coming to fruition. I know it's way early, and I don't want all you Yankee fans to come at me and say it's very, very early in the game and things have – I understand that. But if I'm looking at the optics of this team, I just don't see where it's coming from. They have to make a move. And if you look at the way they've been over the past couple seasons, they get involved in the media, but they don't get involved in the negotiations. And that's just how it's been.
I really don't get it. I don't get why they haven't tried to.
Like very unfortunate.
Maybe they were trying to wait on the Judge thing, and they were going to give them the captain thing, and then that didn't work out. Maybe that's why Cashman put out the report. So, hey, we did offer him this, because that, to me, that was totally unprofessional as well. And now look what's happening. You're 5-5. Nobody's hitting. You just went through like what 6 games with the Rays. The Blue Jays. You had the Vladdy game with the 3 home runs. It's just not looking good for the Yankees.
It's not looking good at all. 3 division opponents down, and the Yankees look like they're right where I thought they would be, right around 4th, and dare I say 5th in the division when it's all said and done. Get it together, New York Yankees.
Scary.
We need you over here. I was talking to my father yesterday, and he's like, well, I already can't watch baseball. And I was like, I told you it would only take a week or two. You know, the Yankees blow a couple leads, can't hit the ball, and it just makes you absolutely sick. I thought I needed baseball. Now I just need football, Packer football, NFL draft underway. Speaking of NFL football and the NFL draft, we got some wide receivers across the league that are looking to get paid. And I think that we could all thank Devontae Adams for this, and we could thank who else got that bag? Stephon Diggs, Tyreek Hill,
a bunch of them.
There's been a few of these guys that have just gotten
Christian Kirk.
Christian Kirk, yeah, that actually is the guy that reset the market.
Absolutely.
Not even Devontae, because when you have a mediocre to good player, I wouldn't say he's mediocre.
Not a shot at him, but he has not proved that contract.
He's only got 800 yards one time in his career. I understand the targets may not have been there, but nonetheless, NFL wideouts are looking to get paid. We got, Deebo, who's now what do they call him? A wide back?
Utility man?
I think he's trying to come up with a new position. Whatever. It's something that's interesting, and it's like a running receiver or
kind of like what Cordell Patterson's doing,
I
guess.
I think it's wide back. I think that's it. It's the wide back. So Deebo, Terry McLaurin, and who was the other one?
AJ Brown.
And AJ Brown, all clamoring for new contracts, or at least the extension that you see all these other wideouts that are getting. And all 3 of them are in unison and not reporting to offseason OTAs or any of the offseason things until they get a contract situation worked out. The 49ers right now are apparently fielding offers for Deebo, but Deebo wants to be the highest paid non-quarterback in the league.
I just don't see that happening, bro.
I don't see it happening either. And here's the reasoning what goes against Deebo's logic here. I think his best bet to get the bag would be to stop playing running back altogether and say, look, if you're not going to pay me that way, you're not going to use me that way. Because what happens there is running backs don't get paid. No one wants to pay a running back because of the wear and tear. So Deebo's actually doing himself a disservice by asking for that, because the way he's being used in this system is actually taking years off of his career and a lot of money at the back end of things. And the sooner he realizes that, the better off he'll be financially. But I don't know that Deebo goes to another team and a coach would have the ability to use him the way that Shanahan does.
Yeah, it would have to be in like a specific offense for that. Like I could see, maybe I don't know.
See,
Rams,
I have a
Ravens.
comment in here, and it's Anand Ashar saying Deebo does deserve the bag. Now, as far as the way he's being used and his skill set, I absolutely agree. What he brings to the table, he's as good as anybody, if not better than everybody. So Deebo he's 1 or 1A in my book as far as receiving talent goes. But that said, for all those reasons that I just said, teams are going to be gun shy in terms of giving him that long-term deal with a lot of guaranteed money involved, because running backs don't last. And he himself is stating that he is in fact a running back / wide receiver. So that's not a great situation. Terry McLaurin, I think he's the one that is probably the least, he's like the least exciting out of the 3, but I think he's just as good, if not better than AJ Brown.
2 straight 1,000-yard seasons. I mean, hasn't really had. I guess this is the first year you're going to see him with like a
better quarterback,
like a quarterback that's actually been in the league for a while and can maybe throw a little bit. I mean, you take what you get for Carson Wentz, I guess. But from who do you have before that? The playoff.
It was Heineke.
Tyler
He had Heineke, and before that, I think it was like Fitzpatrick
maybe.
for a week or 2.
Yeah. So
and then before that, I don't even know who the Redskins have been rolling out there for the past couple seasons, but it hasn't been great. I very much so equate him to a young Allen Robinson, where he had to deal with the Blake Bortles, and he went to Chicago and had to deal with Mitch Trubisky bouncing him balls on 5-yard outs. Terry McLaurin has gotten it done in each of his first 2 seasons on a bad team with a bad quarterback. And I say he's one of the most underrated players in the league, not just at his position. So hopefully he does get paid as well.
Him and Deebo both 26 years old too. So they're still like young.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Still on the early side. All 3 of them.
Well, yeah.
I did see Kurt
24,
Benkert, the Packers' third-string quarterback, politic to get AJ Brown in town. Hopefully he brings new knees with him if he does.
Well, how funny is that? It's like AJ Brown, DK Metcalf, both Ole Miss guys, both one out, and there's one guy that plays for the Jets that went to Ole Miss too. That
yeah, if they could be like, bro, do you want to be the number 3 on the team?
would
that
they
you're
be the
currently
number
on?
3 though?
Well, Elijah Moore would be the number 3. So
well,
it's
he
like,
would,
why would he
yeah.
want to recruit guys that he knows are going to be higher in the pecking order than him? You know, so it's like, oh, the NFL is not college, so he ain't going to get his looks the way he was in the Big 10 or Big 12, I think it was then. College football is so up in arms right now in terms of what conferences teams playing that I have no idea.
And it's
I say everything with a question mark.
And it's all going to change anyway, like because Texas is going to SEC now, so
Exactly.
it's like, dude, it's time to just put them in like 5 groups and call it a day. There's too many.
I agree. So we'll wrap up on the NFL. Hopefully some of these guys get paid. If there is a time that somebody would get moved, it'll be in the next couple of weeks because we have the NFL draft coming up, which Rob and I will get into some coverage. I'm not sure how we're going to do it yet. If we're going to go through the teams, I think we might do something where we just kind of go through the positions. We go through edge and we talk about the top 10 edge rushers. And then we go through, say what teams might be interested in where they pick rather than going through each team because we're kind of pressed in terms of getting all 32 teams in. So I think the position groups will be better. So we'll do that, I guess, Wednesday throughout the rest of the week. NBA playoffs, bro.
How about
we had
playoffs?
The weekend was loaded. We had 8 games, actually 10 games if you include the final 2 playing games on Friday. Right. Yeah. So we all know what happened there. The playoff tree was officially set as of Saturday morning, and then we got 8 games. A few of them didn't go well for certain teams, but we did get a lot of excitement. And I'll first talk about what took place yesterday. Bucks survived the Bulls. The Bulls came out and they fought hard, bro. I thought the Bucks were going to roll in this one. I didn't get to look at Kyle's ticket yesterday because I was very, very busy finding Easter eggs and eating chocolate. And from what I'm reading in the comments, Kyle's on a little heater. So
nice.
Unfortunate for us, we didn't get to make any plays on the Kyle heater, but I did ride him Friday and Saturday, and I did well with Kyle. So thank you to the sauce for putting some green in my account. And yeah, man. You got anything on the Bucks Bulls?
So for me, this was the game. I mean, you and Dave both have the Bucks going back to the finals. One of you guys have them winning, one of you don't. For me, this was the game. I was like, the series. I was like, all right, the Bulls don't stand a chance. You know what I mean? The Giannis, the Bucks, they're just going to dominate them. And this was the closest, probably one of the closest games of the weekend, besides Nets and Celtics.
The ones we'll get into next. But yeah, I think in this is a classic case of the Bucks survived the Bulls' best punch. You know, the Bulls gave the Bucks everything they had yesterday, and they still came up short. I'm not saying that it's all lost for Chicago, but they're banged up. They're missing some guys, and like I said, they just gave their best shot to the Bucks, and Bucks came out on top.
They shot a season low, like 32% from 3.
Who, the Bucks?
Yeah, the Bulls. So still they lost by 6, but they were still, you know what I mean? They played their worst.
There's some, I know percentage. I could already see the sauce write up tomorrow where he's saying, you know, the Bulls, there's something to look into there because they shot so poorly and they were this close. And that's actually what I guarantee that Kyle's going with the Bulls.
In the fourth quarter, the Bulls were 6 of 28 and 1 from 12 from 3.
Yeah, and he's already chiming.
And they were only down. They only lost by 6. So I mean, they played. They just weren't. The shots weren't dropping. They were obviously getting open looks.
He was talking about it on Friday when I kind of went through my brackets. I think he was kind of shitting on my Bucks pick a little bit. He's saying that the perimeter defense is terrible and they just missed a ton of open looks, according to Kyle.
Yeah, that's a bunch of open looks.
You have a bunch of open looks. You're missing all your open looks, and hopefully, for the Bulls' sake, they could hit some. For my sake, I hope they don't, because I want to be right.
Well, Milwaukee jumped out early. It was like 32-16, so they kind of put it away early, and then they just couldn't get the shots to drop. You know, so I'm very interested to see now. You know what the Bulls do now.
I think the Bucks are going to sweep them still. They had their best shot. Now it's fucking over. Kyle, don't at me, bro. So Celtics edged the Nets yesterday in what was the game of the week, and I think it's going to be the series of the playoffs. Not just maybe not the playoffs, but definitely round one. This is can't miss TV.
It had me so furious, dude. Like furious, because I told you, I'm like, oh, Nets by 20, dude. They're gonna spank them.
Now,
no Robert Williams.
You're a low key Nets fan.
No, I'm not. No, I'm a Knicks fan, to be honest. Kyrie took over that game, bro, and was making them look so bad. Just throwing up 3-pointers, bang, bang, in their face, giving fans the middle finger, not caring. That's a whole different story.
Yeah.
KD, they played KD on defense so well, where KD was forced to just throw up shots and wasn't himself. And now I think, well, the next game's going to come out, and it's they're gonna have to figure out how to cover Kyrie and kind of lay back off KD a little bit.
See,
But
that's like the age old issue. You're not going to be able to.
I
that.
know
You
it's gonna
can't
be
double
hard.
team both guys. I say you let Kyrie beat you. You can't let KD beat you.
And for Boston, Tatum was unbelievable yesterday. Like I never see that guy as a star really until yesterday, where I was like, all right, now I see it. You know what I mean? Now I see why people talk about him.
I mean,
like that.
Kyrie is definitely a superstar, not just a star. But as far as the polarizing stuff that he does with the fans in Boston, I think that I'm going to give him the pass, bro. The Boston fans are
absolutely
relentless towards Kyrie, and rightfully so. I'm not saying that they don't have their right, but from what we know about the Boston fan base, typically across all sports, is that they're not really that welcoming towards. And I'm not going to go into the race card here, but that's what certain players say. That's what certain, like Kyrie has come out.
Not certain, a lot of
players, and
even white players say that.
Yeah, so. I don't have any dog in the race here because I don't really know. Right. That said, Kyrie, I'm going to take his word for it. He's heard some things, and if he feels some type of way, and these fans feel like they could say whatever they want, I'm always on the player side when it comes to how they react, as long as they're not putting hands on anybody. But if you want to interact, you want to flip off the fans, I really don't care.
But this is sports, okay? And I like this. People might get mad at this. It might be people who see this different way, but this is the NFL, the NBA, everything. And especially right now, and exactly what Kyrie said, yo, it's the playoff time. Like Kyrie was in Boston, he was also in Cleveland, so it's like a revenge tour. You know, you're gonna have fans who bought the jersey, loved them. Like we told us yesterday, how many Yankee jerseys you bought that you could obviously reuse because no names on the back. But as a fan, joke. These people loved Kyrie. Kyrie was coming there. He's gonna win the championship, and obviously he does it, and he goes somewhere else.
I wonder if they're burning Kemba jerseys.
Right? Probably.
No, because he sucked.
People probably didn't even buy them anyway. But my point is, when you're a fan, it's like, you know, you're so emotional. You're in it. We love you. This is what we want. And then you leave. Yeah, so fuck you. Get out of here. We don't care. Hope you miss every shot you take.
Yeah,
you have to be able to take it.
You can't be racist.
You have to take it back too, though. You can't tell Kyrie, hey, pussy, talk shit. And then he's like, go fuck yourself. And you're like, hey, what did you say that for? Like, bro, if you gonna give it out, you got to be able to take it too.
I agree. 100%.
It is what it is.
100%. I'm very excited to see the rest of these games. I'm hoping that I'm not working my entire life this week so I can watch some of this NBA action. But I really think that the Celtics are going to take it. You saw yesterday the team defense, and late in the game, I don't want to blame KD on this one because he did slip. Did you see it?
Yeah, I did.
There's no doubt about it. People are talking like KD got his ankles broke. Nah, man. There was somebody that didn't do the right thing on that sideline, and he slipped on a wet spot. No doubt about it. So you could blame that, but so it's the history of KD in the last two playoffs is he's got a 27-inch foot, so he stepped on the 3-point line and they didn't advance because he's got a big foot. And in this case, somebody dropped some water on the court. So KD, get your shit together, or whoever's
where's the
sweat guys that mop shit up? You got to get it together. But it was in Boston, so maybe they planted it.
They just left it there from the fall on.
All right, so moving past we got the Warriors. Warriors look unstoppable, bro. Unfortunately, I definitely faded the Warriors in the first round, in the first game, and I paid heavily for that. It was a bell-to-bell ass whooping. They beat them pillar to post. Jokic just can't do it all.
He tried.
He tried.
I'm sure did try.
You know, there was, but not hard enough.
He wasn't getting any calls for him. They were beating him up down there. I mean, he was still scoring at will, but they weren't getting any calls. I mean, Jordan Poole.
I'm not going to say I don't think anybody expected Jordan Poole, but Jordan Poole looked like the best player on the court, and that includes Jokic. That includes Steph, Clay, Draymond. But you got Draymond Green splashing threes in the third quarter. You knew the game was. It was like they were up 22. I'm just saying, in the Western Conference right now, if you look through and through, who's the clear-cut favorite? Obviously, the Suns.
The Suns.
Who's their best competition right now?
I'd say the Warriors. If they're going to come out there like that again, of course.
Absolutely.
It was ridiculous.
I don't think that Memphis has any defensive moxie whatsoever, so might be the – I could easily see, I know I said this, the opposite of this the other day, but after seeing Minnesota play the way they played, Anthony Edwards is just so good at basketball, and he's elevating his game to another level.
Yeah, them young Wolves.
Hit it for you, boy. All right.
Young Wolves.
But I don't want to get too ahead. Yeah, Jordan Poole, 36 points did he have? So he's now another – they added one to the Splash Brothers, so now they have the triplets over there. The Sixers smacked the piss out of the Raptors.
Oh man,
Big story there was the injury to what's the boy's
Scotty
name?
Barnes goes
Scotty
down with
Barnes
ankle injury.
goes down with an ankle injury. Is he going to go?
I don't think he's definitely not going to go the next game. The MRI came back negative. It's sad too because he was up for Rookie of the Year, and he's definitely a big part of that team. And it's just it's not going to look good for them without him. You know, Embiid was pretty much did what he wanted anyway.
Well, that series was over regardless.
Absolutely.
And shout out to me, Talon. Kyle did do great this weekend, but he had a couple misses, and one of them was the Raptors money line. No good. No good. But it's all right. You got to be in it to win it.
Got to be in it to win it.
Just touching back a little bit on the Warriors, we got a nice little stat coming from the sauce over here. Steph, Clay, and Poole have played 129 minutes together on the floor this season, which is astonishing that it's that little. In those 129 minutes, the Warriors are plus 89 over their opponents, including 42-16 in Game 1 over Denver. So I think that the formula is there. We could see it, right? And Steve Kerr is a genius, dare I say, right? I was talking shit last week. No, it's got a really good roster, and I'm going to say that the Warriors look unstoppable in the West right now.
If they're going to knock down threes the way they were doing it, it's going to be very hard for someone to compete with them because you can't trade 2s and 3s.
Are we just going to auto bet the Warriors -7? Are we going to auto bet Golden State every game in the playoffs?
Well, I think the over for the next game was like 223. It was like so low where I'm like, are you?
But what
me?
happens in these games is I think if Golden State just runs it up on them by the fourth quarter, it's like now they're not really trying to score as much. The other team is kind of checked out already. They take their starters out, and then you get hero ball the rest of the way between all the backups. So I'm just going to lay the 7. I'm going to bet the Warriors the rest of the postseason and see how that plays out.
See how it goes. Do you think they're back, or do you think this is just welcome, guys? This is what we're going to do game 1, and we'll be gone when we see the Suns.
Bro, it's teams like the Warriors that have had success in the postseason, and they understand that the regular season is just to get you primed for the postseason. The way they looked, especially what Kyle said with all 3 of those guys on the court, and now he's saying like if Draymond could lock up Jokic like that, it's a wrap. I feel like that's all Draymond has to focus on, and that's what makes them so good is when you have a guy as talented as him that doesn't really have to do anything on offense whatsoever, which is like insert Ben Simmons for the Nets.
Yeah.
You know, they could really fucking use
Ben
Ben
could
Simmons
really use
defense
his length,
now. But yeah, I'm just going to bet the Warriors tonight -7. There's no question about it.
People forget about the Warriors, man. Like no Klay Thompson for like over a year and a half, you know. So and then KD's gone. This is that same team.
It was perfect. As weird as it sounds, like the Steph injury may not have been as bad as it looked, or they made it out to be, and he just sat and got right for the playoffs, which is an indicator of what I was talking about. They don't really give a shit about the regular season. They did enough to get the 3 seed, and looking forward to hopefully getting a matchup between the Suns and the Warriors down the stretch.
That'd be fantastic.
Is that the next matchup? I think that they meet next. I think one would play 3.
Idea.
No, one would play the 4 or the 5. Anyway. The Sixers are given 7.5 to Toronto tonight. If the rookie's not playing, there's 0% chance that I'm going to take Toronto in this one. Maybe the under. I have no idea. I got to look at it. But go check out Kyle Kerm's YouTube page. The Sauce Network will probably give out some free videos today, and hopefully you guys can get some picks out of that. If not, go check out his website, kylekerms.com, and subscribe and get them picks. Get some free money. The Suns roll. There's not much to talk about there. I feel like that's
Chris Paul broke Steve Nash's record.
He had 17 points, I think, in the fourth quarter. Pick your poison with the Suns. They're just a very good team, and they're going to be hard to beat. The only team I see beating them will be the Warriors.
See, my thing about it, I would just, it'd be such a shame if Chris Paul doesn't get out of, if he retires without a ring, right?
I would.
Point God.
I'm pulling for Chris Paul for that reason. I don't want Dave to be right. Full disclosure, I don't want Dave to be right and me to be wrong. But I've always liked the Suns. I've always liked Chris Paul. I definitely am a fan of Devin Booker. I think Ayton might be a product of his environment. I think he'd struggle on other teams to make it happen. But nonetheless, a good solid player when he gets to the ball 1 foot from the basket, which is what they're able to do because the point guard himself, Chris Paul, is just great at the pick and roll.
Mm-hmm. They're 47-0 in the regular season when leading after 3 quarters. Now they're 1-0 in the playoffs. I just read that now.
That's incredible.
That's ridiculous, dude. 47-0 and going into the fourth.
So live
with
betting
the
the Suns money line, no matter
Whoa.
what the juice is on that, live bet the Suns money line, even if it's plus 1,400 if they're leading after 3 quarters. Now, any lead,
it says 47-0 when
any lead, that's incredible.
that is
in the state of the NBA now, the way teams blow 15-point leads on a nightly basis, that's just, to me, not even blowing a 1-point lead. That's astonishing to me. Heat torched the Hawks. I think we expected that. The Hawks had a couple tough games to get here, right?
Yeah, I mean,
they're a
it's
little
just,
banged up.
what would you expect? This is why you have to play good in the regular season so you don't get matchups like this and have to sneak in.
But they had John Collins. It's like
it's
iffy as he goes. Clint Capella had the injury in the playing game. But yeah, you said it. Don't get into the playing game, man, because you're in the playing games, things can happen. And now the Hawks just counting down the days until their season's over because Miami is just a good team.
I mean, Collins did play a little bit, but he was still.
When you put guys out there that aren't right, you're almost doing yourself a disservice because he's not able to stand in front of anybody. Looking forward to see what the Heat could do. They're going to easily walk through the Hawks, though.
Yeah.
The Jazz handle the Mavs, and the Mavericks are in trouble. No Luka. I think Luka might be sitting in game 2 as well. As of now, the Jazz are given 5.5 points. I think that's because Luka's out. I think it would be a little bit closer if not, but there's not much to talk about if there's no Luka.
No, it wasn't pretty at all. I told you who was I think his name was Brunson, right? For the Mavs. It was like he was the only one on the floor that could score. And I'm like, dude, it's like it was nothing without.
And I never even fucking heard of that.
Me neither, but I'm watching the game.
I'm not Mr. NBA, but I know the players.
As I was watching the game, I'm like, all right, well, he's scoring, but who else is gonna score? And nobody, it wasn't even like anybody else wanted to take shots. Spencer Dinwiddie a little bit, but they need Luka, dude. And they got rid of Porzingis now, right? So there's nobody even there to help. You got to hope that this kid.
Not that Porzingis was much of a help,
but it was another score. You know what I mean? Can you name somebody else on that team?
No.
Exactly. No. So
I absolutely can't. Would they have Hardaway still?
I don't know. Tim Hardaway Jr. I don't think he's still there. Maybe he is.
I think they still have Hardaway Jr. But either way, that is, I guess that kind of, well, Luka didn't make the finalists, but that kind of is a great case for a guy like Luka to win the MVP because he has literally nobody over there.
Just look at it.
Literally nobody over there.
It's kind of sad, to be honest, and they need him to come back. But like I said, we've seen him in the boot. I just don't see. This is 2 postseasons in a row.
So Hardaway is out for the year as well.
See,
so they literally have nobody. That's a bad roster. They do have. You just said Spencer Dinwiddie,
and they're 52-30. It's not like they're a bad team, but you can't get nobody wants to play over there with him.
I'm sure they do. Mark Cuban used to be a guy that brought guys in. They always were loaded in Dallas, and now for whatever reason, they just can't get it done with. Their roster is shit. It's like the LeBron team that he took to the finals in Cleveland, or like Iverson's team. They just don't have a good team. Wolves beat the Grizzlies. We talked about that a little bit. John Morant's a great player, but Anthony Edwards is, I wouldn't say he's better because he's not, but Anthony Edwards is almost equally as exciting and good. And in the playoffs, man, he's just dropping 30, 35 a night. Shout out to the Timberwolves. They're an exciting team. I'm excited about it. I'm very excited about this series because I'm going into this thinking like Memphis is one of these teams that could shock everybody, playoff job, but they just don't play any fucking defense. Nope, whatsoever. There was like 190 points in the first game. So more of the over. I'll be slapping the overs in this one.
Yeah, you can't have Anthony Edwards scoring 36, the Town scoring like 29, and then Beasley 23, Jaden McDaniels 15, Patrick Beverly, D'Angelo Russell scoring 10, and you figured that they would have came out here after the Wolves won the playing game against the Clippers, acting like they just won a ring or something, that they would have came out here and try to embarrass them.
But look, they're riding that high. And I always talked about this with baseball and the playing games too. You get that game 7, excitement out of these playing games to a degree. Now it's not like the best of the best because you're getting like the 10 and the 9, but you get to ride some of that momentum. If you win an elimination game, what that does for your confidence, I think it could elevate it if you could escape without injuries, which the Timberwolves were lucky to do. I think getting into foul trouble for Towns was actually like a benefit because they ended up winning the game and he didn't have to play an insane amount of minutes in the play-ins.
Yeah, it was. I mean, for Weren't they the 2 top draft picks? Is that what it was? Edwards was 1, Morant was 2, right?
No, I think Zion was 1 in that draft.
Oh, well,
And then Ja went 2nd.
back
So
in the
the
2019,
year before that,
2020.
yeah. But either way, Anthony Edwards, I think he's in his 3rd year now, right? Or 4th year.
The series putting up the 2 top draft picks of the 2020 draft against the number 2 overall from the 2019 draft. Edwards and Morant became the first opposing players in NBA history to each score at least 30 in a playoff game at the age of 22 or younger. So it's pretty interesting. Edwards joins Derrick Rose, Tyler Hero, Magic Johnson, scoring at least 35 in a playoff game before turning 21.
What about Maxi's 36?
I know they were loving him
too,
bro.
right?
They were
Good
screaming
for him.
his
Though.
name.
We got Scoop coming in with a little Siakam 40 points tonight. Is that a are you trying to give us a pick here, Scoop? Scoop is the host of the Cross Court Cast on the Chop Sports Podcast Network, and there was no episode this past week. Bad timing of things, but they had a little issue. We'll get that out next week, and we'll talk more NBA with Scoop and his cousin Vinny. But Scoop, is that an actual pick you're giving out? Siakam 40 points? I don't even think that's a realistic.
There was another protest though.
Yeah, the girl that
she changed herself to a basket.
Now, I think it was somebody in the comments. I saw this in the Facebook group. Might have been Officer Payne, and said like, "But what I want to know is how do you get a chain in? How did you get a chain in the arena?
Yeah, how did she bring that in?
It's not like she snuck a vape in or something. Like she snuck it. What did she put it in her prison wallet?
How did she get
it? Was
through,
a big chain.
How did she get it through the metal detectors?
I'm just curious to know how she got it through as well.
Must have been an inside job.
Yeah, inside.
And she was from the same thing from the lady that tried to like blew her hand on the floor. It was the same like animal farm. They don't want that guy to own chicken eggs or something or whatever it is. Well, whatever he owns, I don't know. Can you at least wait till halftime to do these things?
No, then it wouldn't be. First of all, did you see the big ass fucking security dudes that just stood over her? That guy was a fucking monster.
Really?
He's like 6'6", 380. What position does he play? Line, offensive line, and where?
Obviously, the position not doing his job. Yeah. She laid on the floor to whatever she did to herself there. That's ridiculous. I don't understand these protests. Like, we have the internet now. We all have YouTube. We all have like this is our platform. Just go to your platform. We're trying to watch basketball. It's playoff basketball.
But hey, we're talking about it. So
That's
I guess
true,
her protest did the
Save
job.
the eggs.
And how many people that Googled what the guy's name? Steve Taylor? Is he the owner of the Minnesota Timberwolves?
Oh, the guy that owns the factory farms. I have no idea.
Yeah, I have no fucking clue. Anyway, let's get to some commercials here. I'm not going to pull up the graphic, but head on over to manscaped.com and use the promo code SHOPSPORTS for 20% off. You get free shipping worldwide, and this is for the Performance Package 4.0. It's equipped with the Lawnmower 4.0 LED 400K LED light trimmer. It is waterproof. You could put it on your titties, you could put it on your booty hole, and you could put it on your nutsack. But do not put it on your face because, ladies and gentlemen, we have now introduced the Plow 2.0. And it trims you up just nice, and you don't have to smell your booty hole while you trim your mustache, which we all know is an issue unless you do it in the shower like me, then you got no issues. But April is the Testicular Cancer Awareness Month, and Manscaped is recognizing that and giving you all awareness on checking your balls, making sure that you do not have a lump. Early detection is the thing here. Early detection saves lives, and supposedly ball cancer is the number one leading cancer in males age 18 to 35. So I am in the clear. I'm officially no longer at risk. No, that's not true. What it actually is that now you are at risk for that the same, but there is other cancers that you're more at risk for. So it's like exponential fear just being imported into my soul right now as I read that stat. So manscaped.com, Chop Sports promo code, 20% off. Do the thing and clean your ball sack for the ladies.
Check your lumps,
Check your lumps, bro.
Check no lumps. We don't
Check
want the lumps.
Yo, lumps. All right. So NBA awards finalists were revealed, and we've talked a little bit about the MVP, but we haven't done a deep dive on the rest of it. There's 6 awards that are given out, and I think some of these there's a good debate to be had, but some of these I feel like the awards should just be given already. I'm not sure if they voted yet. I think they did vote, and what they did was they took the top 3 and make them the finalists. I don't think that the voting takes place after the finalists are named. The voting determines the finalists. Does that make sense?
The top, like the last 3, and then they vote.
Yes. So they vote for the MVP, and the top 3 guys are the finalists, and then thereafter they release when they name the MVP, they will release the entirety of the list, and that's voted. That's true. I'm trying to read the comments here. Don't mind me, guys. So yeah, that had nothing to do with what I was saying. So I'll breeze past that. But the NBA awards finalists for MVP is none other than the Joker, which we all, at least I think it's his award to lose, and Joel Embiid, which Rasslin Rob here thinks that Embiid is going to sneak up on the Joker and win it. And then you have Giannis. I think Giannis, he gets it for the it's one of those, he deserves to be in the conversation, but he's clearly not going to get it because it's a two-man race, right? So it's Giannis and Joker. We've made our cases as to why we think each guy gets it, indicated by how Joker was all by himself in that playoff game and brought his team to this point. You could say that's my biggest case, other than the fact that he's done things that no other player in league history has done. He's making up new stats, setting new records. The Joker, I'm going to steal Kyle's line, is like a 7'1" Larry Bird, and I couldn't agree more. Embiid is very Shaq-like with an outside shot. So what he did this year from the center position, being able to score 30, which we haven't seen in a really long time since, I guess, Shaq, right?
Joel Embiid?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was the first player since Shaq to do it.
Be able to win the scoring title and score almost 30 points a game.
Ridiculous, especially in a league that's more driven to the 3-point shot.
Yeah, everything
now.
is
So
threes. You have, first of all, you have to be able to hit a three if you
No
want
matter
to win
what
a scoring
position
title,
you
and
play
that
now.
goes for a center as well, apparently. So I'm going to go with Jokic. The Joker is my guy for the MVP. I do believe he's the odds-on favorite. I think it's his to lose, like I said. So Embiid might sneak up on him. Defensive player of the year. I also think this one is pretty much a gimme for Marcus Smart, but the finalists are Marcus Smart, Rudy Gobert, and Bridges. Mikal Bridges? No,
Mikal Bridges.
Is it Mikal?
Mm-hmm.
Mikal Bridges, he's not the guy that just threw his mouthpiece, is he? Or is that Turner? That was
No, wasn't Mikal Bridges that threw his mouthpiece, wasn't it?
I thought it might have been Miles Turner. I might be thinking of it. Miles Turner might not even be on that team. It is Mikal Bridges. But either way, Marcus Smart, he has the Celtics playing great team defense. Am I right?
They're on the best team. I mean, the best team defense in basketball.
You can make the case. So. They did lose their big man, and that definitely takes away from their defensive prowess per se. But just Marcus Smart, he's the man. He's the guy. He's the best perimeter defender in the league right now. Maybe I'm wrong about that. There's some guys with length, but in terms of defensive effort and scrappiness, you just can't say enough good things about Marcus.
It's kind of hard because you know what's crazy about Marcus Smart too, and people don't even think about this is he's a guard, bro. So when he's playing defense, he has to go everywhere.
It's Miles Bridges, not Mikal.
Either way, throw the bridge and get over the bridge.
Thank you, Sauce.
But he's got to go all over the court. It's not like he's just playing down low, or if he wins the defense player of the year, he'll be the first guard to win it since Gary Payton. Oof. So think about that.
Well, it's his award to lose, so I think that's going to go down. Sixth man of the year, we have Tyler Herro, Cam Johnson, and Kevin Love. Nice to see Kevin Love get some respect put back on his name, but he's not really in this conversation. Cam Johnson, I think, you can make the case. Maybe Phoenix is playing just out of this world this season. They had the 1 seed locked up over a week ago, but it's Tyler Herro, right?
It's averaging 20 points off the bench, bro.
Yeah, it's Tyler Herro. He's
off the
playing
bench.
on a team. You can make the same case for Herro that you can make for Cam Johnson, that they're just the number 1 seed in each of their respective conferences. Tyler Herro is a bucket.
Absolutely,
I've gone hot and cold on whether I like this guy or not. He came into the league, I was liking him, and then I started feeling like, a little bit. He started feeling himself a little too much, but then I started seeing like, oh, he doesn't even start. This guy needs to come off it a little bit. And this year he showed me that he doesn't need to come off anything. Just keep shooting those threes.
He's a young guy. He's a baller. He's a different play of pace when he's out there with like Jimmy Butler. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So it works out for them, man.
And best coach in the NBA. Which we'll get
I don't understand how you think that.
Rookie of the year, we got Barnes, Cunningham, and Mobley. I'm very lost.
It's a close one, man.
I'm very lost. I think the only guy that could be eliminated out of the gate is Cunningham. Barnes and Mobley, you could take your pick at the 2. I think that's a very close race. But like I said, I can't even make a prediction. And I did a deep dive on it, and I didn't get enough. I just still came away with it like, wow, that's very close. I don't know who it's going to be. If one of you guys in the comments want to chime in here.
I would say this. Like, if you consider where the Cavaliers were like a year ago, how do you not give it to Evan Mobley? You know what I mean? They were terrible. They were not supposed to be where they are now. You know what I mean?
Well,
So
we'll get
it's-
to what I think the real reason why.
why the Cavs
why
are
the
better?
Cavs are a little bit better this year. There's a couple reasons, and it all worked out. But
I think Cade Cunningham, people just look at him because he was the first guy taken in the draft, right?
yeah,
So I mean,
no, he's had a decent season,
Of
but
course,
he's just not
but-
the guy. He's not the guy yet, at least. So, like I said, that's a toss-up. I'm not sure. Nobody has even come into the comments. I think they're talking about their own shit here. They're talking about how Tyler Herro was sneaking hot girls into the bubble during the pandemic. and
listen, when
things
you
like
have a
that.
song named after, when you have a song, written by
And
after you,
just so we're clear, Ash, I did not call these girls hot. I'm just reading the comments. 'Cause she
just
put
reading
in
the comments.
Yeah, I apologize. I did not. I don't even know. Who
We didn't
these
even see
people
the
are.
pictures. How do we know?
All right, so enough about that because I'll be getting a text message in 1 second.
Most improved player?
Most improved player.
Does that shock you? Who they have as the favorite?
It is. It is. Obviously they put Ja in there. I feel like he's
Why?
already
Was he
been
not-
just great.
I don't understand.
Darius
why
Garland and DeJounte Murray. Dejounte Murray should win because he's the most improved out of this bunch, right? He's not going to win. Darius Garland, I think he was a decent player last year. John Morant was already a star last year.
I don't understand.
Maybe she's a little behind on the comments.
There's another guy too who's not getting any love. It should be Jordan Poole. And I'm talking about if we didn't even think about this game before this game even happened. This game doesn't even
No,
happen.
that's true.
I would have bought that up. You know what I mean? Not saying that he would be the favorite to win. I'd probably give it to Dejounte Murray or Garland, but John Morant. To me, if I'm John Morant,
Ja's winning it. I would
obviously. But if I'm John Morant, I'm like, this is disrespectful. Like, watch how I'm coming out next year. You think?
Yep, this is like the most improved player going to an already All-Star. Wasn't he an All-Star last year? No, I think he missed it. I think he got snubbed last year.
He definitely made it this year, though.
He got snubbed last year, but he was like, he should have been an All-Star. Everyone was like, damn, how did Ja not make it?
He's phenomenal, bro. First of all, you ever see his dad? I can't wait to show you a picture of his dad. His dad looks just like Usher. They have like a picture of him on the court. Like, is
I
Ja
saw
Morant's
the
dad
whole
Usher?
thing that they were talking about Ja and Zion being AAU teammates and things like that. And
That's why they'll play for the Knicks together in like 3 years.
3 years.
You can get a jersey. We can go to the games together. It'd
It's
be
not
great.
gonna happen. Bro. Not gonna happen. So we're gonna go with Ja for the most improved player, but that's an unfortunate thing here because he might be, he might be the most improved, but he has to improve his defense just a little bit, Ja, if you want to win some playoff games.
How much?
Just a little bit.
This much?
Just a little bit. Or a lot if you want to actually fucking win a title. But if you want to win a little bit of playoff games, you're going to have to play a little bit better on defense.
Yes.
Coach of the year. Coach of the year, Monty Williams. I think that's a guarantee that Monty Williams gets it. Just going to go out and say that I don't think that he's a better coach than Eric Spoelstra. I'm confused why you have this.
I don't
vendetta against
understand
my
you
love for
think
Spo.
he's a good coach. I don't get it.
I don't see how anybody with any basketball acumen whatsoever
I'm not
can say
saying
that he's not a good coach.
He's not a bad coach.
You're just saying he's not the best.
He's not top 3 in the league.
I think yes, he is. No doubt about
he
it.
almost had a stroke in case anybody just didn't see that.
I did have a stroke. Not to make fun of strokes. Because,
if anybody in the comments, please tell me if you think Eric Spoelstra is a top three coach in the NBA.
So you're going to obviously put in like the Popovich because
I'm not going to put in anybody.
The career
comments.
achievements. But right now, there's a 0% chance I'm taking Pop over Spoelstra in the current state of the NBA. That much chance, not happening. Not happening. Spoelstra, he has a little bit of the old school. He got brought up by Pat Riley in a Van Gundy kind of situation and got the job as a young kid. And now he's not a young guy anymore.
Got the job as a young kid, or LeBron kind of was like,
I think Pat Riley put him in place. Pat Riley was the front office guy for Miami at the time, and he was just a coach in waiting.
I could believe that because I think if there's one guy that LeBron James isn't saying, like I don't think LeBron goes out and obviously talks all this shit, but there's one guy he's not doing that to, and that's probably Pat Riley. Pat Riley's probably, bro.
Pat Riley. You watching this Showtime?
Bro,
this
Pat
Showtime
Riley,
on
I haven't
HBO Max right now,
it,
bro.
I'm on it,
so if you haven't, just go out HBO Max, watch this Lakers shit because it's so good.
Speaking of HBO Max, the Batman came on HBO Max today. Yeah.
All right. So Jimmy, we're gonna have to cancel it. I'm gonna put it on Hulu, right, or HBO Max. Actually, yeah, they do have. I have HBO Max on Hulu.
Let's go.
Anyway, so we have two people, and this is the Sauce, who is the NBA legend. He's saying yes, he would take Spoelstra top 3, and we have Scoop, who is an NBA podcaster, and he didn't do his podcast this week. Scoop. But he's saying he's top 5 at
That's
least.
top 5, not top 3. Thank you.
So top 5 at least. And
He's
then
probably
you
top
can make the
5,
case
not
like
top
a
3.
Monty Williams. He's having a great year, but Taylor Jenkins gets a little bit of recognition here. But I have a hard time that giving anybody now. Team improved, very good record. All said and done, he's probably done a really good job. But when you don't demand any defense from your team whatsoever, I have a hard time. That's all.
Who won last year? How come the Celtics coach ain't getting no love?
That's a good question.
He was handed. I mean,
was
not
it,
handed, but
Brad
what's his
Stevens?
name? No, it's not Brad Stevens. Brad Stevens in the front office now.
Oh, really?
That's what makes it even more. What is his name? Emi Udoka, maybe, or something like that.
I agree, Kyle. Spoelstra. Kyle's saying that Spoelstra might even be number 1. Like, who do you put above
in the
him?
NBA right
But
now?
like, who are you putting above him?
The best coach
Pop,
in the
that's
NBA.
it.
No. I wouldn't even. But I wouldn't say.
It's hard to go through the NBA coaches.
I know. I'm
because,
trying, but it wouldn't
Steve
be
Kerr?
Alex Spoelstra. Maybe. No, he's another guy. I think the guy handed his job.
They got a lot better. They got better with Steve Kerr. We debated this last week a little
Well,
bit.
the NBA is a lot. I like to actually like coach. I would say the NBA is one of the hardest coaching as far as coaches. If you look around different sports leagues, the NBA is probably
Udoka is the Celtics coach. Udoka.
Yeah, there you go. They may win on like a 26-2 run in the season, bro. The Celtics. Think about that. But I'm talking about like as far as like actual coaching in all sports, the NBA has got to be like one of the hardest things to do, dealing with prima donnas, and it's only like 15 of them. It's not like the NFL where you got 50 some people and you might not see everybody. You're having a relationship with these guys.
You know what I mean? Like dealing with the subs in and out, giving
families
guys minutes.
And all that stuff.
I agree. You know what's not hard? Managing baseball. Somehow Aaron Boone can't do it still.
Well,
but we got a Nick Nurse mention here. Nick Nurse is a solid pick. I put him in the conversation with Spoelstra, but in the conversation, you can make the case for Spoelstra to be number 1. You can't make the case for him to be any lower than number 5.
No. I'm not saying he's definitely in the top 5.
So, and you just look at what
he's
done.
Earned that. I give him that.
I think that people get a bad taste in their mouth when they think Spoelstra right away because of the Miami Big 3, but they overlook the fact that he's brought several undermanned teams deep into the playoffs, and every year, somehow or another, the Miami Heat are in the conversation. So, and that bubble, what he did in the bubble, I think gets overlooked as well. I think when you're talking about, people want to say LeBron's title, the bubble title should have an asterisk. I think that dealing with all the things that these players and coaches had to deal with, in addition to the grind of a regular season stopping and then not getting to see your people, unless you're Tyler Herro, of course, who was sneaking people in during the finals run. But yeah, man, he took that team to the finals. They had no business being there. They were the 8th seed?
They didn't have. No, I agree. They didn't have Jim. That was all Jimmy buckets. So
we got Kyle coming in, Spoelstra number 1. It's always nice when me and Kyle agree on something because I feel like we have this natural feud. Rob shakes his head and
I don't get it. We're gonna have to do a show about this one day and like really do research and break things down because you're gonna have to show me why.
Well, here's my one reason. A lot of success year after year with teams that don't have the star carrying it. Now, he had his success with LeBron, Wade. I understand that. But since then, who's been the best player on their team in any given season? Jimmy Butler, Adebayo. Prior to that, who was on the team in the playoff runs when they were the 1 seed, the 8 seed? They've had not a great roster or a good roster, but just not. Are we going to start giving Udonis Haslem any credit for being a great coach?
He's been there forever, dude.
Motherfucker,
forever.
Calling people out, wanting to fight.
Now he's trying to fight people on a bench, bro. He's been there forever. That's like, we didn't even talk about, but how about Al Horford last night? I totally forgot he was still there. I forgot he was still in the NBA.
What team is he on?
The Celtics. And he had like 30 points, 20-some points last night.
So that's what we're talking about. The Nets got nobody to stop the big.
Al Horford had 20,
no business
20 and 15. Al Horford had last night.
That's embarrassing.
Al Horford, bro. He played 12 minutes. Like he was like the best player on the court. It was unbelievable. I'm like, he's still here.
And that's taking place of the Celtics big man. That's why when we're talking about depth, the Celtics are without.
It was
Robert
ridiculous.
Williams,
I couldn't believe
and
it.
Al Horford gets to step in, and he's a vet. I don't know if you're going to get that same out of him every night.
No,
you're definitely not.
Hey, if you got it for a game, that's what counts.
Absolutely. The game that you needed, you escaped out of a fucking basket and a drop of water on the sideline. So
literally,
shout out to Al
a
Horford.
spin move and a layup, and you win a game. It was. But you should have seen me when I was watching that. Furious.
We got a Horford still doing the flinch on free throws.
Guys, don't forget, please like and subscribe to this. This is how Chop Sports builds as a whole.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah, definitely go like. I didn't mention that. Good job. So if you're watching this on YouTube, please subscribe to the channel and hit a notification bell so you can get the notification when we go live at 11 Monday through Friday. And if you're watching this on Facebook, that's embarrassing. You should definitely be watching it on YouTube. We do appreciate you watching, but definitely sign up, subscribe on the YouTube, and watch us here. It's a better experience. I don't think we have anything else. Right?
We have we have a show later today at 5. Right?
Yeah, we got
Also
the Chop
live.
Sports Fight Factory. Will be going live at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time to be talking about the going-ons of the UFC and MMA world. And we had a little boxing this past weekend.
Yeah.
And I guess pro wrestling, right?
I got some wrestling, big
potential wrestling news.
that isn't even out yet, but it could be very huge for
Huge
WWE.
news for the WWE. So that's our show. Thank you guys for tuning in. We will see you tomorrow at 11.
Go Canada.
I got my Canadian pack in yesterday. That's what I was talking to you about before the show. I'm Ken and the broadcast, by the way.
That's what's happened to me the other day.
Yeah.